Hey guys, so I would actually want to make some clarifications on this particular method, right? Now, to you who are particularly keeping up to the homework, right? A very big shout out to you. So I actually did get a question, right, today on how to actually frame a setup in line with the trend, right? And the question was more like, I think this should actually be a question that should, let's say, help you to frame a setup, right? So it was more like how do we actually recognize the trends and then do setups as well? And he went further to say, I don't want to rely on the signals, right? Which is a very good thing. Now, what I'm actually going to try as much as possible to clarify right here is how you can actually frame a setup and how you can go about it, right? Now, the goal right here is to understand the underlying trend, okay, and then play off it to the vertical and, capitalize off it. You get me right? Now, so I'm literally going to take a look at the daily time frame. I'm taking a look at the daily time frame right now. So on the daily time frame, okay, and the daily time frame, I'm literally going to pop up another pair. All right, all right. Now the reason I'm popping up this particular pair is because we actually don't have a clean we don't actually have a clean price action of this particular level, right? Hence I'm looking to use it. Now let's say price actually came back all the way to this point, and then we did see a rejection all the way to the upside, right? Now, whenever price is playing off a daily, okay, this is a daily right here, okay? So we particularly expect price to move all the way to the high that prepared to retracement, right? Now, this right here is a blind spot setup, okay? This is a blind spot setup and it's an SNR level, okay? So since this is a blind spot setup, if we refine this further, which I actually did talk about right there in the community, if we refine this further, we should actually see the reason, a very valid reason to buy, okay? Now, the question here is, our security criteria was being met at every single trade criteria was literally met at this point for us to take longs all the way to the upside. And since we actually did get the trade criteria being met right there, right? It's literally in your should we say is in your power to understand or to know if you actually want to buy directly from this point. If you're a swing trader, this is literally the kind of trade you actually want to capitalize on, right? Buy and hold up. You get me right? Now, it's in our power, right, to say if we actually want to buy and hold, or we actually want to play continuations all the way to the upside, right? Now, if you're particularly looking at the trading aspect, since we actually do have since we actually do have this particular point being where the setup was framed, right? And one of the rules of this particular concept is that since we actually do have a point of rejection, right? We actually want to see a point of attraction, right? Which is practically the high that propelled this entire retracement to the downside, okay? So if we look at the prior high, we're looking at this particular point, right? So we're looking to take buys all the way from this point, stop lower time frame continuations, all the way to this upside, okay, which is literally our target. Now, with this being said, right, remember what we are doing right now is we are following a step-by-step guide. We are practically anticipating price. You get me right? So if we take a look at this, where is the next SNL level in price? This is the next SNL level of the daily. Remember, this right here is a blind spot, right? So this is the next SNL level. This is also an SNL level. This is a QML. This is a QML, right? And as I did say, there was a high that propelled the retracement. We're talking about this. All right. So it means at this particular point, I'm literally going to be looking to hold price all the way to this point, right? I actually want to play bullish prices all the way to that point, right? That is another valid one. So how do we actually capitalize on this? Now, with price reaction of this particular point, we've established a trend, with this being our reversal, and then this being our targets, right? So every single thing we actually want to do is to take continuations of this point all the way to the upside. Okay, so we've actually had an established bullish trend. Now, our own aim right now is to capitalize using uh, is to capitalize on this particular trend using the continuations pattern. Okay, that is the SNL continuations levels. Now, since you actually have this being valid, I would be looking I will be looking to scale to the 4 hour time frame. Now, on the 4 hour time frame, you actually want to see the presence of an SNL level. And when we talk about an SNL level, we're talking about QML, SNLC type 1, SNLC type 2, and so on and so forth, right? Engulfing setups and so on, right? Now, at this particular point, at this particular point, you can decide to stock your setups of the 4 hour. You can decide to stock your setup of the 1 hour, right? Your continuation setups. Now, taking this into consideration, right? You can say for a very sure fact that this applies to the 4 hour. If you're literally looking to day trade, if you're a day trader, and then you actually frame your setups of the 4 hour, right? Now, I think the next thing you actually want to do in respect to your entries, right? The next aspect of continuations you actually want to play is literally of the 15 minutes or the 5 minutes, right? As they are literally going to be like good continuation setups in line with price. Right? So at this particular point, we'll start with the 1 hour and we proceed all the way to the 4 hour to see the continuation setups, right? Now, this is specifically the setup which we can literally apply to passing props, right? Because we would definitely get setups coming in over and over again. Now, firstly, of this particular point, let's take a look at the first setup which was present in this particular scenario. So, the first setup I actually have right here is the presence of a blind spot. Okay. Now, if you don't know what a blind spot is, look up the template which I did send in right there in the community. So, a blind spot, right? And we actually want to make use of the high that provides the retracement. Okay. So, a blind spot setup, right? And where was that that propelled this entire retracement? This is practically high. Okay, and boom, price comes into this. Now, if you're looking to take clip props, right, as I did say, this is literally the concept that is continuation of the 1 hour, 30 minutes, and so on, right? But specifically, it should be 1 hour, 4 hour. Now, we've understood what the daily is saying. We've understood the target of the daily, and so on, right? So this is it. Now, what happens after we actually understand the SNR level? We actually want to like push up to refine, okay? Now, with the refining comes the aspect of entries, right? So on this particular point, on this particular note, right? The refining, right? What should we actually see price coming to? Now, this is where the blind spot is. You actually want to refine to the nearest SNL level, right? Now, in this particular scenario, where do we actually have the next SNL level coming in? We actually have the presence of what? An SNLC type 2. And if you actually don't know what an SNLC type 2 is, look it up still. The template is right in the community. This is it. Okay, where your entry is expected to be this point. Okay, so this is what you actually have right here. And then entry was literally of this particular point, and boom, we actually do have price coming to the target. And this is over 180 pips to the upside, right? Now, if you need to like refine this further to the 1 minute to look at for an SNR level, that is sorry, to look at for a supply demand entry, right? So specifically, you're looking at for a demand entry right here. Okay, now prices respond all the way to the upside. Now I know a lot of questions will come in with what happens to this, what happens to this, and so right. As I did say, referring to the nearest SNR level. Okay, because you're not looking to see price come all the way deep down into this point. If it comes all the way to this deep point, then it's literally going to mean that you might actually end up in a rangy price action. Okay, now we've actually had the first price setup. Okay, so this is a win. That is practically a win right there. Now, price after prices to like play off this particular point, we actually do get the presence of what? We actually do get the presence of what? QML. Okay. Now this is practically a Quasimodo, right? And what is a Quasimodo is practically a reversal pattern that signals that price should actually start moving to the upside or we should start going to the downside. Okay, so think about a head and shoulder pattern, right? This is practically this now explaining a head and shoulder for the newbies, right? So this is a shoulder, this is a head, and then think about what makes it unique is the fact that we actually do see the head giving us a structural change right here, then price coming back to give you the best at the right head. Okay, so that is literally the concept of a QML. You get me right? That's just what we call a custom model. Now, price comes back into this. You actually want to refine. All right, so the refining process is going to take me to the SNLC type 2. Where is it? This is the point here, right here. Now, with the 1 minute entry point, you're literally going to have your entry around this point right here. Okay, this is where you're literally going to have your entry coming up. This is where you're going to have your entry coming up, right? And as said earlier on, with our entry being at this particular point, okay, this is particularly 1 minute demand, weak area, okay. If we do this particular point, weak area, we're literally going to be looking at this particular point right here, okay. I'm not trying to make this thing look perfect in history, right? Because I know for sure this is what I trade and so on. Now, entry of this particular point, and then price expands all the way to the upside, right? Now, it's literally your power to know if you actually want to hold more. You get me right? Now, if you're a swing trader, this is how you actually want to capitalize on price and hold all the way to the upside, right? So your target. But if you're a day trader, you actually want to capitalize on the continuation setups, right? By holding all the way to the upside. Now, one thing is sure, if you're refining, right? If you're refining an SNR level, your SNL level or if your refinement area shouldn't be on the same level with your SNL. Okay, so this is a QML. Notice how we came all the way to the downside right here. Okay, now this is a blind spot. Notice how we came all the way to this. All right. So that is actually what I want you to understand. Now, prices to expand all the way to the upside high that prepared to the retracement. Okay, and if we take how many pips from this point to this is basically 120 pips, and let's say possibly will be 30 or so, depending on what you actually want to trade, right? Now, with price giving this expansion to the upside, okay, the price giving this expansion all the way to the upside, this is what we actually have next coming in play. This is what this is a blind spot, right? So pretty much every single day I pop up to the screen, I already know what I'm looking at for in price. Getting right? I know what I'm looking at for in price, and I won't be looking to like I'm just be there randomly or complicate every single thing. Now we actually have the presence of a blind spot, right? And pretty much the next pattern we actually want to see is what we actually want to see the presence of a lower time frame refining. Okay, so what do we have right here? Now, this entire level has been mitigated, right? This level has been mitigated. This is the QML price did come into it, blind spot price did come into it. Now, has this level been mitigated? We've not actually seen an actual mitigation of this particular level, right? So I'm pretty much going to make use of this. Okay, this is literally where I would want to see price coming to. Now, one fact, price failed to tap into this, right? Hence, we are practically good to go. And it's a miss, okay? It's practically a miss. So there's nothing to do about it. Price missed out on it. Yeah, if you're a scalper, this same thing applies to the 30 minutes, right? Same thing applies to the 30 minutes, depending on the kind of trader you actually are. So this is it. This is practically where it's practically nested at. Now, price continues all the way to the upside, continues all the way to the upside. So if you actually had your entries right here, good or fine, you can literally stack them right here. There's literally a mentee who uses this particular method, which I want to actually talk about. You get it right. So now we actually do have another blind spot setup coming in right here. Okay. So now what is a blind spot is practically a fading coffin candle, right? Now this right here is, I mean, it's a blind spot, right? So according to the 5 minutes time frame. All right, so according to the 5 minutes time frame, what do we actually get down there? This is practically Well, this is basically what blind spot still. And boom, price taps into this. We reject all the way to the upside. And what are we looking at for the high that propelled the retracement? Okay, this is the high. So we actually want to see price take out to this particular high, which we actually did see right now. And then price did take it out. And then price came back up, right? So the reason why I prefer taking my profit on time is why I prefer taking my profit with respect to what price is doing is based of that, right? Because you can actually see a valid level, price takes it out and then comes back, right? It's the market. So we actually don't have any control over it. We actually do see price come back and then take this out, okay? Now using the engulfing candle setup, you would actually get a sell setup right here, which would have actually taken all the way to the downside and then take this by all the way to the upside. In the same light, let's push all the way to the 4-hour time frame. Now, with respect to the 4-hour time frame, which particular setup are we seeing in price? This is an SNRC type 2, you get me right? SNRC type 2. This is key level price taps into this, comes back, taps into this, right? Exactly what we actually want to see. And then if we refine this, where are we going to refine? We're literally not going to refine this point again. We're literally going to be refining this. And this is going to take us straight up back to the 5 minutes time frame. Now, with us refining all the way to that point, right? Where is our SNR level going to come in? Okay, we actually have QML right here. We actually have QML right here. Okay, so I'm literally going to make use of this QML. Perfect. Now, what do we actually see right here? Price tapped into this. We did see a push all the way to the downside. Price just tap into this, and then we see an expansion all the way to the upside. Correct? Let's scale into the 5 minutes, to the 15, sorry, the 1 hour. And we did see a continuation to the upside, right? Now, one thing I actually want you to notice is the fact that we only did flow with buys in respect to what the daily showed, right? And I did talk about this. I have videos on this, right? Nested right there on GDP USDT. I did give a valid breakdown. If you have been following me up, right, with the props and every single thing, this is the method I talked about. This is the method I broke down, and this is the method I said I use in passive problems, right? We only wait on higher time frame concentrations, and then we play it like crazy. Now, you're looking to flip, something applies. Okay, price gives an expansion all the way to the upside, and then we actually want to look at forward a continuation setups too. How many continuation setups have we actually had in price? We've had first, we've had second, we've had this was a missed third, fourth, fifth, the sixth, okay, and then we keep going. So let's break down the other one. Now this right here is what this is practically the presence of a blind spot still. You get me right? Presence of a blind spot. Now we actually want to scale to the 5 minutes time frame to break it down. So what do we actually see in price action? Okay, so we're going down all the way to this. All right, so this is it. Price starts to this, and then we reject it all the way to the upside. Okay, now where is our target going to be? Higher than prepared to retracements. Okay, this is a high. The prepared to this retracement to the downside. So this is where you actually want to have your entry nested as. Okay, yes, your take profits nested as. Sorry. So how many pips from this buy points to this? This is practically 100 pips plus. All right, this is perfect. Our price starts moving continuously to the upside still, and we keep looking at buys, we keep looking at for buys, right? That was still in the spirit of the buys. What else do we look at for? Do we actually see any SNL level nested right here? Practically none. That's right, none for price to clear. Now we do see blind spot nested right into this particular level. Okay, now, I still want you to understand that you will still get the same precision on all of this, right? You're literally going to get to the same precision, and then nothing is left out, okay? You're not going to get a B setup. You're not going to get price playing around. you only get that in rare cases, right? You would only get that in rare cases. Price continues with its expansion all the way to the upside. So this right here is a blind spot, right? So if you refer to 5 minutes, blind spot still, you get to right, you actually have a blind spot, you actually have SNRC type 1. So this is pretty much what we're going to be looking at for. This make use of the closest SNR level, okay? So this is pretty much what we look at for the price expands continuously to the upside. Okay, now one thing you should actually notice is if an exhaustion point criteria is present, there's a very big likelihood the price won't be coming back because we are still having a very bullish impulse, right? So price coming back to give a deeper retracement is literally, should we say, the possibility is very, very low. Okay, the possibility is very low for us to see price give that kind of retracement. So this is pretty much what we have been playing all the way. So the daily level, right? So on the daily, this is what it looks like. So you actually won't need to worry about playing the SNR level by the left side, that is the continuation of the reversal or the pulse kind of setups, right? Because remember, we actually did look out for short setups during the week, right? But in this particular case, if you're looking to like flow with the trend and you actually want to like have short scalps off for our levels right there, okay, this is what you actually need. Now, with this being said, you will look up the 1 hour, right? So the 1 hour, what else do we see in price? We did see price tap into the daily, right? And as you all know, we actually don't just take our shots just straight up from this particular point. We actually have to wait for continuation SNR levels to the downside, right? Before we can actually go with shots, right? So that is how it works. And if you're thinking about another price action to look up into, you can literally decide to break that. You can take a look at this particular point. Now, I'm saying this in respect to SNR levels, okay? I'm actually saying this in respect to SNR levels. So if you actually want to choose a particular model to flow with continuation setups, you actually have this. And I actually did talk about the presence of engulfing candle setups, right? Now, there are practically a whole lot of models to actually play off. There are practically a whole lot of models to play off, right? But you only choose that which is very unique to you and which is very easy to you for you to like play off, right? Now, let's take a look at the reason for the sell. Okay, let's take a look at the daily. Now, on the daily, right, we did get an extension. We did get an extension, right, from this point all the way to this, right? So the sales we are literally expected seeing the incoming election and then the starts, right? So the sales we expected. Now look at what I actually did talk about exhaustion points plus extension, right? Now with the sales coming in place, we actually want to play only SNL continuation setup, right? So let's see what surprise actually has for us. So the first setup we actually do get is the presence of what? We did get the presence of a blind spot, and this was one of the basis of the cells which we did take way back, right? If you can remember, we actually did catch this particular setup that got presented during Asian section. Now we did see continuation to the upside. No SNR level was present, right? No SNR level was present. Now price actually did reject all the way to the downside. Now we did see what? We did see a QML right here, which price failed to come into. We did see a blind spot, right? Now, price coming into this blind spot, we actually did see a rejection, and then we dropped straight up into the daily level, and with the daily level, we rejected back. So you pretty much can play SNL levels, right? Understanding the context. So the context right here was to go with shorts. Okay, we actually wanted to play shorts on the right, and this is based off the weekly. Okay, this is literally based off the weekly. Now the weekly came into control with the extension setup, and while dropping, we actually did see price react of the daily, right? The price reacting of the daily. A minute to click into this. Now price dropped into the daily, right? Showed up into this point, and we rejected all the way to the upside, continuation all the way to the downside. So pretty much you can decide which particular time frame you actually want to play or how you actually want to play these movements. You get me right? If you actually want to play them in respect to just using the 4 hour engulfing candles model, fine. You get me right? You're practically going to get assured of 2 to 3 setups with over 200 pips in movements. You get me right? If you actually want to play continuation setups all the way to the upside with respect to the higher time frame, then that is perfect. Now, as a scalper, if you're practically a scalper, right? So let's say taking a look at the first hours, right? Let's say this is the first there was an engulfing candle right on my broker. So this is a setup, right? Now price starts giving an expansion all the way to the upside. Saying that you actually want to play scalp, or let's say you scalper, right? How do you leverage on this particular setups, right? Or how do you play the setups? Now, the easiest way to play these particular setups are literally playing off the 5 minutes SNR level, or you play off the 1 minute SNR level, right? So in this particular case, right, so we actually want to look at the 5 minutes SNR level and then play it all the way in respect to the, the in respect to the original trend, right? So looking this up, we actually want to see the presence of a QML or any SNR level being present, right? So let's take this and look at this. So this QML was literally not a clean one. I won't lie. This QML was literally not a good one. This QML was literally not a good one. Okay. We see price tap into this, and then we did see a rejection all the way to the upside. We did see a blind spot, right? We did see the presence of a blind spot, and we did see price coming all the way into this, right? So either ways, we would have still cut this particular movement with even this SNRC type 1, and then price expanded. So if we decide to go with continuations, right, we actually do have the presence of another blind spot setup right here, okay, which we did see price tap into. We did see price tap into this right here, okay, and then we expand all the way to the upside. Now, whenever you're using the 5 minutes, if 1 minute, and so on, you actually don't need to refine it because what are you refining on the 1 minute again? The 1 minute is there, so you just kind of find to the 1 second or the 30 second, right? So you actually just want to use the levels as they are being present. You get it right? So that is pretty much for it. That is pretty much for it. We did it at the presence of another setup right here, which was able to tap into by a few pips, right? This is it. Price failed to tap into this. We did get the presence of another blind spot, boom, and then price expands to the upside. So it's practically you just repeating the same thing. These patterns are present on the 30 minutes, right? So inside of all this particular, or let's say inside this particular trade which you're playing, or the trend which you're playing, right? You're always going to see the 30 minutes doing its own stuff, right? Giving it own setups and then playing off its own levels, right? So it doesn't stop, okay? It's going to keep happening and then happening and happening. So that is it, guys. Do what to do your homework, right? Do what to do your homework on this. And in rare cases, would you only get an engine price action that you actually need to like employ the use of the 4 hour engulfing candles, right? Now, there are practically two setups which we actually look at for the engulfing candles setups, right? And then the SNR level continues in line with the trend. You get me right. Now, with the engulfing candles setups, you can literally play both buy and sell. So far, the entry criteria have been met, right? They both have a high win rate. Okay, they both have a high win rate. And then for those of you who know, who have seen me play my props right there with over 80 to 90% win rate, right? So it doesn't stop. It really doesn't stop, right? So that is how easy it is, guys. Literally how easy it is. Now, this is how you go about it. For the SNR level continuations, right? For the engulfing candle continuations, you will literally see more of this in a ranging price action, and you get to catch every single movement like this. And what do we actually say properly in this? If you scale to the 4 hour time frame, right? If you scale to the 4 hour time frame, this is what you're talking about. This right here is an engulfing candle price reacted of it, engulfing candle price reacted of it, engulfing candle price came into it, engulfer price played of it. You get me right? So pretty much you're not going to see this particular, you're not going to see an end to this particular kind of movement. You get me right? But again, notice how we actually do get these particular patterns coming up in a range, right? Now, if you actually talk about the continuation, like bro, like yeah, practically a whole lot of things to actually keep you very, very profitable, right? There's literally no limitations to this. There's practically no limitations to it, right? There are practically no limitations to it. Now we come to SNR level type 2, key level, price comes back into this, rejected. Actually, to see the presence of a QML, rejected. We do see price playing off this engulfing candle, rejects all the way to the downside. QML right here, reject. And then this is particularly blind spots, and then price rejects to the upside. QML, price rejects to the downside. So you're not looking to like trade randomly though. You're practically not looking to trade randomly. You're only trying to like capitalize, right? You're looking to capitalize on this setup. But you have to understand the trend and then how to play it, right? Now this is practically daily level. This level was called right there in April, right? We actually did take this trade, did this setup on April, and I'm quite sure a lot of persons remember the setup. That we kept playing to the upside. This is an SNR level, blind spots, SNR level, price expanded all the way to the upside, SNR level, price expanded. We actually did take out the all-time high right here, okay, and then price dropped. As usual, that is what you're going to expect with price taking out the all-time high. You're always going to see a drop, right? And then we actually do see the presence of what? Engulfing candle, price expanded all the way to the upside with a QML. You got me right? Engulfing candle, price expanded, and it keeps going over and over again, guys. It keeps going over and over again. This is practically engulfing candle, we dropped, engulfing candle, we dropped, engulfing candle, we dropped, engulfing candle, we did rally because when a blind spot, we did rally. So you pretty much can catch every single movement. This right here is the presence of an engulfing candle, and we did drop, engulfing candle, price did drop, right? And then price did run into this gap, which was literally not necessary. We see this engulfing candle, price did rally, okay? So you're pretty much going to see good movements. You literally need to understand what you're doing, right? Understand the context, right? Even if you actually want to just pay off an engulfing candle, try as much as possible to make sure you understand the higher time frame context at least, right? It will actually help you in knowing what you're doing. Now, I've actually outlined how to go about the higher time frame context and how you can actually keep keep up with it and be very profitable. So it goes, is that easy? You get it right? It's literally that easy. Now, this right here is practically a daily level, which we actually did see, right? You remember this level that was called out right there. And if you scale directly to the 1 hour to look at for SNR level, if no SNR level is presented, then quite all right. You get me right? There's no cause for alarm, practically no cause for alarm, right? So this is what we actually do see. Okay, so scaling down to the 30 minutes. Now, so far, we are literally in line with the higher time frame. We actually have nothing to worry about. This is a blind spot. Price expands all the way to the upside. You get me right? So literally no other setup right there. Setup. We actually did get another presence of another level, right? And this is it of the 4 hour continuations, right? I'm talking about the 4 hour continuations, the 4 hour engulfing candles setups. The 4 hour engulfing candle setup was literally present right here, and then we did see an expansion all the way to the upside. We did see a 4 hour engulfing candle straight into the sell level, 4 hour engulfing candle, you get me right? And then it keeps happening. So this little push all the way to the upside was over 200 pips. Price coming back into this was over 200 pips, right? But the difference with the SNR level is the fact that you get to like catch bigger, get like catch massive movements because you're playing the continuation setups, right? So that is how easy it is, guys. See you guys next week, and I hope you all do have a very blissful weekend, right? Do what to do your homeworks and then send them to me. So